Is 100 e-gold good enough for me? Now, e-gold is the native token of MultiversX, and even though nothing I say is financial advice, arguably, I would say, yeah, that's good enough for me. Because the way you take a look at it is this. $1,000, that's my price target for e-gold during this bull run. And let's say I own 100 e-gold, and for instance, again, e-gold were to go to the price of $1,000. Now, at that point, that 100 e-gold would hypothetically be worth $100,000. Now, first of all, I'm not telling anyone to buy e-gold or anything like that. This is just my thoughts on this. However, another reaction that some people may have is that, oh, wow, that's not that good, actually. It's kind of bad. Well, I disagree with that because the way you take a look at it is this. Many people that I know out there, or should I say virtually everyone, but then, of course, there's going to be a case-by-case basis, but generally speaking, from what I've noticed, people don't only just hold e-gold, right? Like that's not the only thing that they hold. So if let's say I have this hypothetical portfolio and somewhere along there where I have a bunch of diversified projects in different areas, and let's say again, somewhere along there, there is 100 e-gold. And let's say again, during a fully fledged bull run, let's say a bunch of these altcoins start doing good, and somewhere along there, that 100 e-gold hypothetically becomes $100,000 because let's say e-gold went to the price of $1,000. How was that bad? In my opinion, at least, in this hypothetical scenario, if one of the pieces of the portfolio, let's say, went to $100,000, again, I don't think it's that bad, especially if that's not the only thing I'm holding. Now, of course, some people may only hold e-gold. Of course, I don't know every single person's situation, but even beyond that, some people may be thinking that, again, it's not that much. Take a look at the prices of homes. And I'm totally aware that, homes are very expensive in my area. There's no way I could get a home for $100,000. You know what I mean? But the way you take a look at it is this. It's not a bad down payment for a pretty good home, in my opinion, not to mention, I know some people out there with around $50,000. They went traveling around the world for around 2 years. Now, they're not living this 5-star hotel lifestyle or eating at fancy restaurants every single day. They're not doing that. But then still, they're able to travel for 2 years. So it's not like a 1-week holiday or something like that. Again, they were a little bit on a budget, but still they were able to travel the world, meet new people, gain new experiences, see new places. So the way you take a look at it is that yes, at first glance, some people may think that 100 grand's not that much or 50 grand. But the way you take a look at it is that, again, it doesn't seem so bad to me. Now, when it comes to MultiversX, I think it's very special though. And I think it's going to be a major contributing factor as to why e-gold could do so well during a fully fledged bull run. Now, let me explain. It's because it's even been stated when it comes to MultiversX, the e-gold network is a distributed blockchain network for the next generation of applications. At least some people may view it that way. Now, keep in mind, it's decentralized via 3,000 plus nodes. So that's very impressive. Not to mention, it's scalable through sharding, it's fast, it's secure, and it's green. Now, what do I mean by green? We have to take a look at how MultiversX is allegedly carbon neutral. Now, why does this even matter? It's because, again, a lot of companies out there, they want to go green. They want to showcase that they care about the environment. So what better way to showcase that than adopting new technology that is environmentally friendly, which I would arguably say something like MultiversX could maybe be viewed as somewhat in that regard due to its alleged fully carbon neutral nature. That's just my perspective. Now, keep in mind as well, some people may be thinking, okay, MultiversX, who really cares, man? There's many projects out there kind of focused on this. Like, I'm totally aware of that. Like, for instance, is MultiversX going to defeat Solana or Ethereum anytime soon? Absolutely not. Or like, let's say BNB. No, it's not going to do that. But then in my opinion, it doesn't need to, because just achieving something like that, it's not bad. And not to mention as well, being focused on pretty much the same areas, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean that, because there's a lot of these competitors like Solana, like Avalanche, like Algorand, MultiversX isn't going to have a place. Well, keep in mind, the crypto space overall is very massive. The blockchain technology market is massive as well. I just don't view this as something that, it's oversaturated to a point that e-gold, can't really do well during a fully fledged bull run. Yeah, I just don't really agree with that concept. And yes, MultiversX, it's not really doing anything too, different than really other competitors we've seen, but it's good enough. And the community is strong. There's a lot of belief in this and good exchange listings when it comes to eGold. It has the right recipe because when I take a look at a project, I am not necessarily concerned about current adoption. Even though it could be argued as something being very good, it is not the major determining factor because many projects out there that don't have good adoption, they do well during a fully fledged bull run. And I think a major reason why is because people care about the story, they care about the narrative, they care about the fans, the hype, the exchange listings. And eGold could hypothetically, for me at least, tick all the boxes. So it's just a waiting game, really. It's just waiting for a fully fledged bull run. MultiversX has all the right tools in place. It's fundamentally amazing, good fan base. eGold has good exchange listings. It just really has to wait for the market to wake up. Other projects out there, they're not polished. They don't have this cohesive nature, I would say, in which case we don't know the direction in which they're heading. We don't know what they're really doing. Leadership, sometimes we don't even really know what their goal is, not to mention bad exchange listings. Also on top of that, they say they're going to do this, do that, but then they never really give updates or anything like that. It's just a weird vibe, in my opinion, sometimes when I take a look at a project like that. So I feel like even though they could still do well during a fully fledged bull run, they just don't feel that prepared. But when it comes to eGold, it feels very prepared. And this is just what I like about it. When I take a look at something like eGold going to the price of $1,000, why isn't that too much to ask for? It's because if it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $28 billion. That's around a 67x from here. I don't think it's that bad. BNB reached over $100 billion in market cap back in 2021. Ethereum that year reached around $550 billion. It doesn't seem too bad for something this amazing, and it's not even like record-breaking figures or anything like that. Keep in mind, back in the peak of the 2021 bull run, there was roughly around 300 million crypto owners. Now there's over 600 million, according to Crypto.com research, more than ever before in history. I just feel like this bull run could be a lot more special. And why don't I think that this bull run is over, hypothetically, just yet? It's because usually, as a worst-case scenario, altcoins, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. Now, this is based off history, again, as a worst-case scenario, but the last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of last year. So 18 months from then would actually mean around October this year. It's not a surefire date, I'm totally aware of that, but I just kind of feel like with those bullish factors, like for instance, the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, I just kind of feel like the bull run is hypothetically far from over. And I'm still going to stay patient. Market is beginning to have a pretty good recovery in a sense. Not the best, but I'm just saying it's pretty good compared to where we were not too long ago, especially when it comes to some altcoins. But you know what? I'm still staying patient. I think this could hypothetically just be the beginning. And $1,000 when it comes to eGold, that's my price prediction for this bull run. And if, let's say, in a make-believe scenario that were to happen, 100 eGold, at least owning 100 of that, it wouldn't seem too bad for me, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I'm not telling anyone to buy eGold, but I'm very bullish on it. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Malik the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.